Ellen, Tears of the Kingdom. You've been having a lot of fun with the new powers, right? Fusing things together.
Boom.
Yep.
Boom, boom, boom.
I know, fusing weapons. Well, what do you think of my real-life fused weapon? It's a little unwieldy at first, but see what I've done here.
Oh my God.
It's unwieldy.
Wave to the people at home.
Hello, viewers.
Show of the weekend, show of the weekend, show of the weekend, show of the weekend, show of the weekend.
This sword is so heavy. Do watch out.
Yeah.
Do watch, because I'm not in control. High five it.
Oh, I don't want to.
Good. This was John's idea.
Oh, of course. Thanks,
Yeah.
John.
He basically.
Oh no, he's shaking. He's
a
shaking
bigger
his
boy
head.
made me do it.
John's not bigger than you. You're the biggest boy in this room.
Well, but physically bigger, but John is bigger in stature and moral responsibility, obviously. Hope you enjoyed that bit of light-hearted fun, viewers, because now we're going to talk seriously about Zelda. So, here's what I want to bring to the Show of the Weekend table today.
Okay.
It is the question, is it better or worse to play Tears of the Kingdom, and I suppose games like it, completely offline? Now, Zelda doesn't have an online mode. I don't mean like in co-op or anything like that, because, you know, there is no online functionality. I mean, play it offline in the sense that you don't look up guides, you don't go on YouTube, you don't watch what other people are doing.
You just play it at your own pace.
You maybe don't even like WhatsApp your friends who are playing it as well and like exchange stories at like what they're doing. You just go in like completely blind and let it be like a totally solo experience. And the reason I bring this to the table is because Nintendo, in their cruelty, scheduled the release of Tears of the Kingdom on the day that I was booked to go away on holiday for a week.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the most important video game release.
Luke's like, well, Luke had already booked the holiday. We're not going to make you cancel your holiday. Like, you know, holidays are important, folks. Make sure you take your breaks throughout the year. You weren't on the pulse.
I wasn't, no. So I tried to make hay of this situation. And basically, I played Tears of the Kingdom for a week on holiday by myself, and I didn't go online.
You weren't
I didn't
on
look
holiday
at the
by
meta.
yourself.
Went on holiday. Yeah, I went to a mountain retreat with just me and the Switch, a Faraday cage. But I forgot the charger, so I didn't get off the first island. No, I played the game all week. I got, I got reasonably far. I played it a lot. But what I didn't do was like talk to anyone or like, you know, and it was a very, very weird experience. When I emerged from this cocoon-like state, I don't know, it felt like glimpsing an alien civilization for the first time. It was like, you know, it was like Clockwork Orange, eyes pinned open, but like looking at people's absolutely wild 10 battery sort of mechanized, like, I built a Gundam. And it's like, smash. I built a bike. I built a functioning combustion engine and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, I put the wheels on the wood.
and a fan.
And it didn't really work. The other thing emerging from it was that, like, people, I think, are sensitive about spoilers. You still see a lot, like, the game is full of surprises. The game is, like, maybe 500 surprises.
Yeah.
Or, you know, just like...
I mean, Breath of the
like,
Wild is still full
Breath-
of surprises.
Yeah, exactly. You
Years
know, like,
after it's been out.
Little scripted kind of, oh, you find this? Did you know you could do this? Or like, oh, this NPC wants that. Or like, oh, that's interesting if you can actually do this. You know, like just little things through the land. You walk around and it's a game where you walk from hither to yon, and along the way you are pleasantly surprised by some charming video game dioramas as you go. And just being online, just seeing like a YouTube sidebar, a lot of those that I haven't encountered, I have like seen. I wouldn't say like spoiled, because again, they're not like plot specific, but like just being online, being in the kind of online ecosystem, you do see stuff. Things like, and I won't give specifics, but like things like mini bosses, for example, or like world bosses or something. Like people, understandably, probably don't have any like reticence about posting like one of them on a thumbnail or something, because it's like, you know, it's fair enough. It's in the game. It's not like a spoiler. So, like, on the negative side, wow, did I feel like a crappy Zelda player when I saw the sort of meme ecosystem of what people are doing in this thing.
Yeah.
What other kids are building in the sandbox. When I'm like putting googly eyes on a shell and they've got like a sort of fortress of sandcastle or something.
Yeah.
You know? However, it was a very interesting experience playing this offline. I've not done this with a video game for a long time. You know, played it in that kind of isolation.
Yeah,
Because generally, and I've spoken about this before, with these sorts of open world exploration games that are full of secrets, I've always advocated like part of the fun is being in the community, especially when the game's just come out and everyone's discovering stuff. Like that is part of the experience, and the game's, I think, designed to be played in discourse
communally.
In discourse with the online community, and experiencing what everyone else is up to. And there were some real frustrations playing Tears of the Kingdom, not looking anything up, the main problem I had was that I think Tears of the Kingdom, definitely in comparison to Breath of the Wild, gives you a lot of quests early doors. Like as soon as you get out of the starting area, here's like 20 things to go and do.
There's a lot of main quests as well because of the structure of the main quests. It's not one that you follow. There are like multiple quests that they consider main quests.
And it's very hard to sort of scry what order you should do those in. Now, part of me's thinking, look, I will just do whatever feels right and trust that the game will basically look after me. And to a large extent, it did.
It is a very well-designed game in that sense. Like, I felt as I was being shepherded to certain parts of the map. So, for example, the very early game, they you're kind of steered towards Rito Village. No spoilers for what happens that way. But as you go along there, you bump into, Hestu. So you get the Korok things kicked off, you bump into your first stable, you kind of find things along the way that gradually unlock more things throughout the game.
Yeah, I didn't do any of that. The game sort of nudges you towards what. So the main thrust of the story, as with Breath of the Wild, is there are these 4 points to investigate on the map. They are like each large story things. Regional phenomena they're called, yeah. And the game encourages you to do gently nudges you to doing one of them first. So I went to do that, and I did that, but I didn't see anything on the way, because I guess I just sort of zigzagged around too much, or like took a weird route or something. So the main sort of frustrations that I had were, I was collecting a lot of items that I did not know what to do with, but I knew from context would in some way make me stronger, or give me very useful abilities, but I did not know where to get bubble gems. You can get these things called bubble gems, right? And it's like, collect bubble gems. Someone might like them. Okay.
I know who wants it.
I know because.
Well, I told you.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
Yeah,
and I did ask. To be fair.
Yeah, you were like, what do you do? And I was like, well, this is such and such.
Now I'm online.
This character.
What do I do with bubble gems? And like in general, this game has so many more. It has all of the systems and like little upgrade materials and like little loops of upgrading this and that and this and that. It has all of the stuff that Breath of the Wild had, and then loads more on top.
Yeah.
And I was just feeling like I don't know what to do with a lot of this stuff. And most of it I could figure out with a little bit of trial and error. But there's the other thing. And I suppose this is maybe the most kind of little microcosm example of what it was like to play this game offline. So I was playing the game. I'd been playing it by this point for like quite a few hours. I'd done my first regional phenomena, and I was just kind of like bouncing around the world doing side quests and basically just like playing the way I played Breath of the Wild. Just if I see something interesting, I go towards it, and I trust that the game will sort of look after me. All the time, on my radial menu of powers, there's a gap. There's a power that I haven't unlocked.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not super getting the sense that the game is going to like give this to me. And I sort of had it, I did kind of have an inkling of what that power was, and I wanted it, but it didn't really matter. The point was that there was like one of my key things, like, was not present, and I was like, where the hell is it? So that was more frustrating than I liked. On the other hand,
which is why it's included in my list of things that you should do. Like there's a list that we put out, but we've tried to avoid spoilers for things that are helpful.
On the other hand, to balance that, because playing the game, it was very, very hard to focus on what I was doing in the game, knowing that I didn't yet have the full suite of powers. Because it's like, could I be having more fun doing this side quest? Like, basically, would there be different ways of doing this if I had unlocked the last power?
Yeah.
So I was like, that's it. I've had enough. I don't know where this power is. I'm not going to look it up. I'm just going to find it. So I went through my quest log, which by this point was like enormous. And I was like, all right, it's probably got to be one of the main quests because
you need it.
But yeah, because like it's on the radio menu. Surely it's in some way important. Although to be fair, the amiibo icon is also on there. So like, I don't know. Yeah, you don't have to unlock anything for that, do you?
Apart from your wallet.
Yeah. So I looked down the list of things. I'd already by this point done one of the like regional phenomena things and like no extra power. And from having done that, I did get a sense of what I was going to get added to my character when I went and did the others. So I was like, okay, I'm not getting anything. I'm not filling up that radio menu by doing more regional phenomenize. So I went back through the list. This one sort of mentions like Zonai stuff. I mean, they all mention Zonai stuff because it's all about this kind of upheaval event. But this one particularly was all about like Zonai and things. And it was related to the depths, which to be honest, like I could talk at length about because that is the thing that like Nintendo did not reveal at all. Although shout out to John from trailer 1, you've been saying this game is going to have an underworld and
like the cartoon.
An underworld and like cavern exploration and stuff, and John was absolutely on the button with that, and then some, because there's the entire map like in this creepy underground darkness shrouded hell world. And actually, I love the depths. I love being down there. I really love it. There's a lot of scary monsters.
There's a lot of scary shit down there, and I love it.
And just the pervading darkness, I find really effective. Like it feels like you can kind of dip into a survival sim. When you go down there.
But if you're not having fun, you can be like, nah, I'm out. Back to Hyrule.
Yeah, and that's only like a little bit of the game. Then you go back to Hyrule and you're doing all the charming stuff with NPCs and side quests, and you're sort of safe and it's fun. But then you're like, all right, let's chart some depths, man. I really love the depths. Anyway, I got slightly sidetracked there. Yeah.
We can go into depths later on another video.
I tried several of the main sorts of quests to like fill my radial menu, and they weren't doing it. They were like getting me other types of thing, and I was like, I don't want any more other types of things. I got an inventory stacked full of gems and seeds and things and like quest tips that are like, someone in the southeast might want to see this. Southeast? Have you seen the size of this map? Someone in the southeast? It's not enough to go on. So I was like, so it took a little while. And I think what I had to do in the end was go not to where the quest marker thing indicated. In fact, I think for this one there was no quest marker. I had to go talk to an NPC again, who like was not asking to talk to me. I didn't have a quest marker to talk to them, but they are like a key character. So I had to go back to them and chat with them, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you again." So anyway, we've found this strange thing, and I'm like, okay, this is it's tenuous, but it's a lead. Anyway, long story short, I did find this and I like followed it, and it was a long old slog through the depths. It was such a long slog through the depths to do this quest that I started to question, have I gone off course in quite a serious way? And like, have I basically blundered into something like a bit more late game, or am I doing something completely different? And when I got it, it did feel so sweet and so satisfying to have genuinely figured that out by myself. Now, I'm sure loads of people watching are like, I didn't look anything up. I found this thing easily. Because Tears of the Kingdom gives you like a long list of things to do, and you could very easily just like stay on the right track. So
there's
like,
lots of different paths, and there will be lots of people who just chose the path that got them to there the quickest.
So I suspect my experience of like having a particularly hard time filling in this like last spot on the radial menu is unusual. But I think that most people who play Tears of the Kingdom will have, especially if they're playing it offline like I was doing, they will have something like that. There'll
be one thing that they just can't find.
Yeah. People keep mentioning X, and I have absolutely no clue where to go or how to find it or what to do.
Yeah.
And
you were saying there was someone online who'd said, to be able, they were talking about using the wing glide things to be able to get across, because they hadn't unlocked their paraglider yet.
This was someone in the OXSC Discord, I think.
Hello, fans.
I'm pretty sure I've got this. I'm pretty sure I've got this right. But yeah, someone was saying little tip: don't fall off the Sky Islands if you don't have a fan and a plane handy or whatever. And other people were like, couldn't you just glide? And they were like, could I what now? It's easy to miss the paraglider.
Yeah.
It is objectively easy,
Yeah.
I was
if you get distracted and see, what's that over there?
I feel like compared to Breath of the Wild, a conscious decision has been made to keep the quest descriptions quite cryptic,
vague and cryptic,
quite vague, and I wonder if that is because the developers are expecting that this is a game that people are going to play. I think the normal way to play Tears of the Kingdom, I think the sort of standard way that most people will play it, is to largely play it by themselves, but if you get stuck, look something up. And now that's what I've started doing. I largely play it by myself, but if I'm stuck, and there's one shrine I got stuck on, and I was like, I'm looking this up. I looked it up, and I was like, man, I would have been here all friggin' day trying to figure that out. But I guess what I'm saying is that was I ruthlessly enforcing the offline play, I would have been there all day, but I probably would have done it, and it would have felt real good. So
it's that thing, and I think we especially have a weird relationship with these types of games in that we want to be able to push through them as much as possible so that we can tell you about it, make funny videos, interesting things about it.
Yes. We have content plans for the summer that require late game saves.
The thing is though, there's been a few things you were having difficulty finding that one ability, and not to give spoilers, but there is a workaround to get that ability without doing the quest.
Yeah.
And I needed to do that so that I could be ready for a live stream. And so I was like, Reddit, help.
And look, since I'm back online now, I'm in the sort of ecosystem, I'm looking stuff up, and we do have particular work pressures that mean I'm now my Hyrule map is an absolute mess because I've got my offline area neatly mapped out, explored thoroughly, and then I've got fast travel points here and here where I need to be I need footage at the beach. So I'm going just to the beach for this one thing. And then I'm playing.
Beeline.
Yeah, I'm tap the shrine, don't do the shrine. No time, just get the fast travel points.
The first weekend I was playing it, I was doing every shrine. And then I got to the point where I was like, I can't stop and do every shrine. I need to do more main quests, more side quests, more this and that. But even if you're not online, just being able to talk to friends about it.
Yes.
Because you came back and I was telling you things, and you were like, what?
Yeah.
What? And I was like, have you not done this?
But I was playing Tears of the Kingdom feeling I got a handle on this. I'm absolutely bossing this game.
And I was like, have you tried this?
And a 5-minute conversation with Ellen. And I was like, what?
What game are you playing?
What? I didn't. There's a whom?
And there's also the thing, so in the video that we made this week on Outside Xtra about kind of things that, we recommend you do towards the beginning of the game, trying to not be too spoilery. There were some things in there that I was like, if I hadn't found this now, if I'd found this 40 hours into this game, after having done a certain area, it's things like armor pieces that are extremely useful for one area. And if you do that area and then go back and find this, you'd kind of be annoyed that you didn't have that earlier on.
And that was sort of a problem with Breath of the Wild, because I played that game a lot after I had finished the main quest, just because I wanted it to, I just wanted to do as much as possible.
Yeah, it's a lovely world to explore.
Exactly.
There's still is stuff to do.
But past that point, you're kind of going and doing you're doing a side quest so that it's done, and at the end you get given 20 rupees, and you're like, I am as rich as the mountain itself.
What am I
with
going to do
diamonds
with this?
and ores. You know, like I don't need this. I'm just sort of checking off things. And you're absolutely right. Like I fully intend to collect every armor piece in the game
Yeah.
because I want to have the full armor
Yeah.
set because that's awesome. But none of it's going to like.
I'm not going to get any use out of it
It's not
by
gonna
the
be
end of the
helpful at all.
game.
You know, it's not going to.
So yeah.
So
It's really cool to get Link's motorbike at the end of Breath of the Wild, but then you
What do you do with
don't
it?
need it.
what
Yeah.
does it profit a Link to get a motorbike?
It looks lovely, but
lose his soul.
what's
So we better stop rambling on.
yeah.
But if there's a conclusion to draw in this, I would say that playing the game completely offline is
Hard mode
in
a
yes,
way.
there it is. It is hard mode because it's more rewarding and it takes long. It's more rewarding, but it takes longer.
I don't know. Not always more rewarding. Sometimes you get a reward and you're like, I should have done.
It's hard to quantify because like there is some value
There
in
is
there is value in
something,
like
yeah.
watching a YouTube video of someone who's made a Gundam
Yeah.
is like a very enriching experience.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, lol.
Yeah.
That's very enjoyable
Yeah.
to me. It's great to see people like using these tools as exactly as I hoped. You know,
Yeah,
they
making
would.
wild,
you know.
amazing things.
So you know, it's like it's delivered and then some on the promise of its like new powers, and that's really lovely to see. I think it was. I felt so good, hunting down that last power without looking anything up. It really
you
did feel
did.
good.
It's that extra like I did that
Yeah.
myself.
But
But if you just want to just run around and have fun in video games, not everything has to be like
Not everything has to be-
I did that. And the
yes,
thing is,
yes,
there's
you're right.
enough
That's it.
things
Not
to do
everything
in
has
the
to
game.
be a like badge of honor, you know.
Yeah, and I think there's enough things in the game that will do that for you that if you want to check a guide or a list video on YouTube to make sure, hey, how what
where
can I
with
do
the
this?
gems?
And just like finding, like I watched a video by a speedrunner who like said a lot of things that I discovered, but then there were a couple of things that I was like, oh, I'd not thought of that, because as a speedrunner, they see the game differently. And I think
Yeah.
it's so interesting to see this game in particular, or like any kind of like open world game that is this, I don't know, flexible, I
From all those
suppose.
different
And just
perspectives.
seeing the different things that people have done and made.
Yes.
And like we did the video about all the different weapons that you could make. And then there were people in the comments going, well, if you do this and that, and you know, I made that video, and then like an hour after publishing it, I attached a mushroom to something, and it became a bouncy thing, and you could put a mushroom on a shield and bounce people off. And there's like it's wild. Like I'm constantly making new discoveries, and it was really lovely in the comments seeing all these different things that people were like, well, my favorite thing to do is this, and it was really nice to be kind of like in on that sense of everyone sharing, well, I found this and I found this, and ooh, and I think it adds another level of experience.
You're right.
Of the game.
Okay, let me revise my conclusion.
Okay.
Playing the game offline, very rewarding if you're willing to put in the time. Ultimately, probably not worth it. Give yourself permission to get on a Eurogamer guide or get on GameFAQs, people.
Yeah, it's such
That's
a
still a
huge
thing.
game that, you know, I think,
the
and
Nintendo
in
tips
real
hotline,
life as
folks.
well, don't be afraid to ask for help or ask for advice. It doesn't mean you're weak. It just means you want to know new things and you want to be educated and find out new things, and that's fine. You're not cheating because you've still got to go and do it.
Quite right.
So
It doesn't mean you're weak. It just means you're not as strong as everyone else.
no.
All right, that was quite a lot of serious talk, Ellen.
Yep.
Just to round us off. I can't even reach it. It's so heavy.
But it's so long.
Yeah.
Can I try?
Yeah, please do.
Can I? Oh God.
There we go. All right.
How does anyone do this? No, I'm good.
Oh, there she goes.